Welcome in, everybody, to another Thursday edition of NECC League of Legends. We're taking a dive down to Division 4 as we're almost midway through the regular season. Week 4, the University of Louisville club team will take on Vanderbilt University's JV team. My name is Yanni. I'm joined here by Alk. Listen, this should be a really fun matchup. There's a lot to like about a lot of these players and these programs.
I mean, hey, we're in Division 2, if I remember correctly, so feeling good, right?
We are in Division 4 right now.
We're in Division 4? Then, you know what, maybe I'm half as good as I said. I'm sorry. I hate to do that to our NECC teams here. I'm doing, actually, you know what, let's make a positive spin. I'm doing twice as good as I would have been if we were in Div 2. True.
Honestly, 4 is greater than 2. That's just how math works out. 2 is still greater than a couple of things because 2 is the number of games you need to win a match of League of Legends. And lastly, week Louisville were 2-0'd by the University of Tennessee Knoxville. Really rough go at it, dropping them to 1-2. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt lost a very close series, 2-1, to the Missouri State University team that is now 3-0. So both of these teams have 1-2. Vanderbilt 1-1, still have a game to make up. But you know, the University of Louisville, talked to them earlier. They said playoffs is a big importance this year because it's rainfall. Their AD carry their last semester, so they want to get into the playoffs for them. As you take a look at the rosters at the bottom of your screen.
I mean, that's always something that you can try to build towards. I do appreciate that. Oh, these logos are actually swapped. I just want to make sure we recognize that. Look, it's Louisville. They're always going to have a cardinal. It's just how it goes. But for them, I think it is really interesting that actually went and they have their own like little website that they have for their program, and they have, for most of their players, at least for the league team, they have little like pictures for them. It's really cute.
That's so awesome. Like, love that they have an ability to kind of be creative with it, especially because not every school is supportive of particular teams and stuff like that, right? Like, obviously,
I mean,
we've got a JV
what if their
team,
players
for the other,
on their league black team? So they have a red and black team, which
sure
is corresponding to their colors. It is his first name is Kyle, and his in-game name is Darth Shrek, and it's literally it's like if they just took a picture of Shrek and then they just made it like Darth Maul.
Dude, what? Dude, that's pretty hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Need some dark. Where is Darth Shrek? We need. If we can find out what division Darth Shrek plays in an NECC,
bring him up.
Get him on the phone. Later down the line, we are casting Darth Shrek. We are calling it. But for right now, we have the teams we have in front of us. And for Louisville, focusing on a nice team, fun atmosphere. Despite the playoff expectations, you can do both. We'll see if this is a team that's able to do so. They played against some NECC Division 1 competition earlier on in the Concord Esports Passion Series. And they said it was a great experience, but, it is tough, right? Like, probably one of those games weren't exactly the easiest to play, right? But this is a team that, it's got some pieces, especially Gromp Economics in the jungle.
Gromp Economics is going to be a terrible name for casting anyway. It is great in terms of the comedy aspect of it. But for him, he is the captain. He is kind of hanging out. Currently, wants to be a business analyst. Is currently a business admin at the school. So I really appreciate not only them for being able to be here, but also sharing all this information with you, Yanni. So we have a little bit more to talk about for these two guys. Looking at the standings, very close. Vanderbilt didn't play the first week of NECC, so they'll be looking to play a little bit of catch-up and go forward. But I'm looking at the rest of this, and I mean, these are kind of our middle-of-the-pack teams. These are currently 4 and 5 when you look at Vanderbilt and Louisville. So this matchup very easily could determine that playoff bye that we were talking about.
No doubt about it, and I think where we're going to see a lot of action has to go in these bot lanes, right? This Louisville bot lane looks like it's going to be a pretty sharp one to go up against. It's Rainfall and Tianlu, right? So Rainfall, ex-Diamond player, down at this division, you don't always see that all the time. Tianlu, peak Diamond 2 this year. I mean, this is a bot lane that very clearly knows what they're doing. I'm sure they have a great idea of what they want to do as a 2v2. And a lot of the champions that Tianlu likes to play are a little bit more of the enchanters. Rainfall also has like a back pocket Caitlyn, likes playing Aphelios and Yunara. So they are definitely a good match for each other.
And we've got a lot of fun stuff. I mean, we're on 26-4, so, there are some changes. Both of these junglers really like Volibear for some reason. So hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit more of that. I mean, Gromp Economics already has almost 50 games played this season. And Mr. Teeth Tree is not doing too well when it comes to the numbers there. 13 games. But I think an almost 80% win rate is kind of crazy.
Yeah, not only that, Mr. T3, they are playing mid lane here today, right? Instead of playing in the jungle. Whoa. So we have to figure out what's got a lot of overlap, right? It's going to be very interesting to see how that develops. Haven't really seen the Volibear mid a whole lot. They've got a couple of games of Seraphine under their belt. You could take a Pantheon or an Echo mid. So, very similar to what you and I see in Division 1 when Maddie plays in the mid lane. Are we going to see something like that today?
Whoa, come on, man. We're 3 divisions below that. We can't be making calls to there. Come on.
Now, are we actually 3 divisions below that because we're talking about Division 1, not Division 1,
They're not going to get this reference, Yanni.
They're never going to. Listen, that's just for you and me, bud.
All right. Well, it's not just us. It's also for our production staff today. They will get this joke. Probably not as funny as we think it is, unfortunately. But
listen, like I said, it's for you and me, bud.
Yeah.
As long as you and I think it's funny, it's well worth every second we spend on it.
That's true. It also means that actually, I can't say that. I was going to say our producers can't do anything about it, but... Anyway, moving on. Other than what's in front of us in terms of actually in the game, we can talk about their mascots if we really want. This is Louis the Cardinal versus Mr. Commodore. Never mind, production has decided. Guys, just talk about the game.
Maybe there is something production can do about it.
Maybe.
Perhaps we did not know this entire time. Louisville going to be over on the blue side. So Vanderbilt's going to be over on the red side. You put it into my head earlier with Louisville's tri-code or duo code in this particular scenario that LR for Los Ratones. I actually almost called them Los Ratones.
That's crazy. See, that's what you get. This is where you're going to have to really pay attention now because it's coming. So, Morgana's not all that surprising. I know that one of our teams was kind of joking about playing double mages bot lane. If I remember, it was Vanderbilt. So, fingers crossed that I actually get to see some mage play today.
Yeah, double mage bot lane, as long as you're not playing Xerath, I'm all right with that, right? Because, let me tell you, whenever I see picks like that, I always imagine, how would I feel if I was loading onto Summoner's Rift? And if I'm playing bot lane, and I'm going up against Xerath, I'm not feeling very happy about loading onto Summoner's Rift, so... I gotta, we gotta sympathize with the AD carries out there, all because a lot of those mages getting taken away. It's second rotation going to be Wukong and Ahri, and then finally a Skarner ban starting out Vegan TFT.
Dude, I almost snapped my neck just now. Whoa, we have old Skarner icon. Jesus, I know we also use the Arcane Savior Victor one. Yeah.
Those are rare Adam stylistic choices. So if you dislike them, you can go take it up with him.
No, I love it. I'm glad we're paying some homage to the history of the game. We're going to have a Seraphine, which I'll lift the curtain here a little bit. One of our production staff decided to show us some of the in-game lobby chat. And Tian Lu saying, guys, this is my first Seraphine game of the season. So... I'm always going to be on board with some first timing, and we'll see how that goes. This champion's not that difficult.
This is a lie. This is a blatant lie. They've played 44 games of Seraphine this year. I guess maybe they mean in NECC. If they mean NECC, I could believe that. But otherwise, the OP.GG does not lie, my friend. Over on the other side, we're going to see a Lux get locked in along with an Ornn. It's something that seems right up the alley of what Vanderbilt wants to do. You put that Lux down in the bottom lane. You give your Ornn to your Giga Chad top laner.
Wow, you get a free matchup in topside like Renekton. It can be really dangerous. I mean, with a Seraphine, I actually do think that Renekton gets a lot more value. You have someone that's going to stand in front of you, empower your encore. This 2v2 leaves a little bit to be desired, however. Yunara Seraphine usually don't get along very well, and now with what might be a Caitlyn Lux bottom lane, this could be one where it really explodes very early on, and suddenly you're looking top lane, and you're like, well, I'm playing Ornn, so who cares? We're going to win the game. My bot lane's going to be set up for success.
Yep. You always have to worry about standing on a stray trap. Got to keep your eyes peeled for them, especially when you don't have a lot of HP down there in that bottom lane. You'll get taken out very quickly. Speaking of taken out, we're taking out some more mid laners, focusing down the Louisville mid laner, Lorna. It's going to be Aurora going away. And then, of course, got to figure out what's going on in the mid lane here for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, a lot of the Lux is technically flexible, right? Like, we do have a ton of Lux mid players just in general. She's one of the easier champs to play for every single skill bracket, and definitely has a lot of skill shots that are going to be really difficult to land depending on mobility. We haven't necessarily seen that from Louisville Red. Now it got me as well. I had to actually think about it before I saw the tri-code. So, I don't know. I'm kind of interested because there's a lot of mages still left. I mean, you can play Syndra. You can play... Honestly, Lissandra is not all that bad if you're really feeling it. We're getting a Malzahar in mid lane.
Hey, Malzahar in mid is an interesting choice here, but I really don't hate it, especially because you have the Lux follow-up. Now, Mel, as a response to that, I don't really know how the ultimates interact with each other, if they do at all.
Yeah, so she just kind of reflects it back at him. That's kind of it. But it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think Mel is usually getting ulted, and I wouldn't say it's super telegraphed that Malzahar is going to ult you, but as long as you're kind of staying in fog of war, if you're in the middle of a team fight, it is difficult to coordinate that. I don't think that Louisville have made a composition that is going to be super cohesive. You lose your bottom lane matchup. Mid, as soon as Malzahar finishes his first back, he should be able to be more relevant when it comes to contest in the mid lane. And Olaf jungle, I think, eats this team alive right now. So I really need to see what Louisville are going to be bringing in this game, because you've picked some pieces that aren't necessarily going to be fitting all next to each other in this big puzzle.
Yeah, think you're going to be getting most of your value out of going after this top lane here. The CC, you have some CC for your jungler. We anticipate this is going to be a jungle Gwen. So you do have some CC in all of your lanes, right? If you land an empowered beat drop in the bottom lane, a Mel root. If you can funnel kills into Grump economics this game, I think you could be in a pretty good spot. I think it's going to be a little difficult to try and kill this Malzahar, though. But really, that's what we're checking in on, what this Gwen is going to be looking like at the 15-minute mark, at the 25-minute mark, and how strong you're going to be compared to what you're seeing on the side of Vanderbilt.
I'm okay with the Gwen, but, like, she doesn't have very much crowd control. You're asking a lot from your Seraphine and Renekton to get things done, and you can be empowered from this Enchantress, but again, where is the CC? And then you're playing into Olaf, who already is going to negate all of this. So you're going to stop the Caitlyn and the Lux from interacting with you, but the Hollowed Mist does not last forever. So not only do you need to avoid Olaf early as the Gwen, but you also need to figure out ways to maybe circumvent him, get around him, take out one of his lanes. Maybe we just blow up this Ornn multiple times in a side lane, and the game becomes about making plays on opposite sides of the map and then moving towards an objective. I could see that as a possibility for them.
Over on the Vanderbilt side, seems like making picks happen is the name of the game, right? You've got your Lux, you got your Malzahar, and you've got your Ornn, right? Those are your three big pieces with the roots and the ultimates. And then follow it up, right? If you could drop a trap underneath of them, that's going to allow plenty of time for your Olaf to get there to really finish the job. So I'm looking for the bottom lane of Louisville to be very careful, not only in lane, but outside of lane. So they don't really have any ability to dodge out on some of these point and click or otherwise catch abilities that Vanderbilt have.
I was gonna say, Yanni, many people usually can't dodge a point and click ability. It is almost usually 100% accuracy.
Almost, but
Almost.
Mel exists. Listen, Gwen can hollowed mist, and all of a sudden you get to dodge a point and click. You just need to time it properly.
No, because the spell never goes off, so you never
that counts
get
as
the
a dodge. That counts as a dodge. I don't know about you.
I don't think that counts as a dodge. No.
Okay, so I'm thinking if you're the only one in the area, right? Like say you're hanging out, and a wild Malzahar appears. You're like, oh no, Malzahar is gonna ult me or something like that. You hit the hollowed
That's
mist,
not a dodge,
and you're
though.
outside of range, you're good.
That's not a that's like saying walking by someone is me dodging them.
Well, did they do anything to you?
I don't know. I didn't walk into them.
Sounds like you dodged them. Oh, I mean, well, if you walked into them, you wouldn't be able to dodge them, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
So there you go. You didn't walk into them, you dodged them.
Every time I go outside and I walk on the sidewalk and someone is walking by me, that now constitutes a dodge.
Yeah. Why not?
No.
What,
no.
So are you saying that dodging is a state of mind?
Dodging is an action based on something being
in your way,
basically like something happening to you.
Okay.
If someone throws a can at me and I don't get hit by it, I'm dodging.
That I agree with.
If someone has me held hostage in a terrible draft in solo queue, I dodge the game so I don't have to play.
Okay, you know what? That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm with that. I fully agree with you. One thing that we can all agree on is we're on Summoner's Rift here for Game 1 of this best of 3 series tonight between Louisville and Vanderbilt. I see a little bit of poke going down that bottom lane. Let's check in on some Summoners. We got double heal in the bot lane. Not a big shock there. Ghost for Gwen, but not for Olaf.
Yeah, that's fine. I am a little bit surprised about the flash for Olaf. It's not something we usually see, but maybe just wants to get on top of them. I don't know. It's kind of up to personal preference. So what I'm expecting in this game is for Vanderbilt to not only have the better team as we go on in the game, but also have the better early game. So for Louisville on the opposite side, it's up to them to really kind of shake that up, do something to either change how some of these matchups are supposed to go, or honestly just get lucky. That is always something you can maybe, I wouldn't say bank your chances on, but especially for Division 4, as we say, anything could happen.
Yeah, I will call it what it is. Not always going to see the cleanest play, right? There are going to be more mistakes made than you would see in, as an example, a Division 1 game, right? So we'll see if they're able to actually punish a lot of these mistakes. Thought there was going to be maybe an opportunity for Gromp Economics to show bot if they wanted. Looks like they're just going to finish up the red, head up to their top side. Meanwhile, Vegan TFT is going to head to start clearing their bot side of the jungle.
What does Vegan TFT even mean? Because
I don't play TFT, so I don't know. This is all you, bud.
Yeah, so in reference to playing League, usually when you say that someone is playing Vegan, it means that they are avoiding fights, they are just farming, they're trying not to really interact with you. But Vegan TFT, you have to play PvP every single round, except for obviously the PvE rounds in the carousel. So does this mean that we're just going 8th every game because we're never winning combats? Or are we playing strictly only lose streak econ augments or traits?
Maybe we are just loss streaking because, and hear me out, because if you're playing Vegan League of Legends, you are trying to farm, right, and trying to get to the point where you're strong. See a lot of farming-based champions. Well, hold that thought for a second as Renekton just gets clapped as Vanderbilt ace up in the top lane, getting it done.
Oh, there we go. This is why this matchup is not as easy as it usually looks. I respect the Conqueror. I do think that there's maybe a bit of room here to go for PTA early Orange is going to take the recall, crashes away, feels good, man. Teleport comes out from the Renekton, so all in all, not at all a bad trade here for Vanderbilt. They lose very little for this, and we're starting to put the weight on for Louisville Red. They're saying, okay, well, our bot lane is already under a bit of threat here. They haven't lost any turret plates, but I'm looking at those HP bars and no pots either.
Yeah, sometimes you are hoping that your bot lane wins because you're playing Ornn into Renekton, and sometimes you are just winning Ornn via Renekton and going, oh, I don't need my bot lane, I'll be the big carry of this game, as we can continuously see this Renekton go after Vanderbilt Ace. Yogurt, who is the top laner, typically plays supports and AD carry, so might be a little out of their element.
Yeah, there were 2 substitutes coming on through for Vanderbilt. Or was it Louisville, if I remember correctly?
That was, yeah.
Yes. Louisville do have 2 subs in for today, so... oh, sorry, no, it is Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt are the ones with subs. So, they're not playing with their full roster, but, I mean, we'll take the win. I mean, look, if they win here today with 2 subs, you come back to the main roster, say, damn, all right, feels good, man. Yeah,
especially because it's kind of been like this for them for the start of the year, so... Any wins that you can get during that time can feel pretty good. The team gets to bond a little bit more as well when you're able to win with subs. You know, it's just always a good feeling, right? Because you always think that you might go into those games with a grain of salt, like, might not be the best showing for us today, but go in and grab those dubs. Winning fixes a whole lot. We have Lorna hitting at level 6 right now, which means they're going to immediately put some pressure on, and the Golden Eclipse gets it done.
Wow, and doesn't die to the turret either. Really clutch stuff from the Mel. No flash is an expensive trade, but not having that on your Malzahar is not all that bad. So right now, I mean, we got everybody else. The solo lanes are the ones that are really getting active, and Olaf's already starting up this dragon. Level 5 is going to hit level 6 off of this or the scuttle that spawns afterwards. There's not really much that we see Louisville be able to do. They're trying to start up a dive on top side. I mean, Ace doesn't have very much mana or health, honestly. He just flashed.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the trade. What just happened in this top lane? What happened?
Oh, they went for the dive. I think he stepped back in and thought he lost herd aggro. Oh.
Well,
that's not good.
Vanderbilt Ace is now 2-0, has the Bammy Cinder, has the Chain Vest, and all of a sudden could be quite unkillable to this Renekton.
I hate to use this. It's looking bad.
It's certainly not good. All right, the start has inauspicious start. We'll call it for the moment. There's still a lot that could go right in this game, especially with what Lorna's done in the mid lane so far. Has had a really good start for themselves. She's over 10 CS a minute for the current moment, so we'll see what Amel can do. A lot of complaints about the champion being not as good at hard carrying a game after a lot of changes. We'll see if Lorna can buck that trend.
Yeah, Mel has never really been a champion in my mind that can, like, 1v9 games. It's just that her kit was really, really unfun from a opponent's perspective. So, Renekton I think actually just dies here. If we see Ace just pop an ult, I guess Dominus is available, so it's another 300 HP. Always a possibility. There's the Transcendence
Root
here from
dodge.
Rainfall.
Yeah, Rainfall is really looking for kills here. Potato Lobber forced to flash and barrier. Alex is going to be the next target as they wait for cooldowns. Rainfall getting closer, dashing forward again. The beat drop is there, and it's Rainfall picking up that kill. Alex flashes forward and gets sent right back to the base. Meanwhile, Vegan TFT here in a 2v2 pops the Ragnarok, flash for flash, but all of a sudden the turnaround might be there.
He's dead.
Ragnarok runs out, and the beat gets dropped by Tian Lu, and Rainfall is 2-0.
And 2 kills here for Yunara. What was that from Vanderbilt? We use the Ragnarok. They have no abilities. There's nothing here from the Seraphine and the Yunara that's really going to slow you down. He loses out on the big axis of the Ragnarok. He flashes forward. I think you just need to send it as Olaf there. So, pretty big win here for Louisville. Despite everything that's going on in the top side, your mid laner just got a solo kill, and this bottom lane is just an impossible matchup.
Call the Forge God there. Can have a knockup potential as well. As Renekton wants this fight. I'm not sure if that's what you want. He's brittle. See if Ornn's gonna be able to catch him. So close. And drops him down with the Q. Gromp Economics looking for the follow-up here. Drops that needlework as well. And chops the Ornn down.
Yeah, but this stops him from getting grubs for the time being. If he decides to go back to this objective, I do think that there's a small window here where Vanderbilt's jungler can hopefully catch himself up a little bit here in this game. Considering he has all of his camps he can go back to. Dragon still spawns in 2 minutes, and that's kind of going to be what I'm looking for from Vanderbilt, considering the only person that isn't finding any level of success right now is the ace, their top laner.
Grub's going to get started up here by Louisville. So Gromp Economics going to be very happy if they get any opportunity on a turret in a side lane. A little bit harder as a jungler, but it is still the opportunity could be there. Vegan TFT is going to respond by clearing out these chickens over on the side of Louis.
All right, we're still in one camp. Maybe even go for a gank on the bottom side. There's no wards covering their Tri-Brush entrance right now. Olaf just wants to go for more. Oh, wait, Lorna might find a solo here. One more auto attack plus the ultimate, and that is a dead Malzahar.
All right, we're still waiting to see what Vegan TFT is going to do. Very vegan here, but is now starting to turn on some of the aggressiveness as they're going for the long loop. Potato Lobber, it's about half HP. Alex is going to really want to land this root here. There's the B-drop for the slow, but you can't dodge the encore. Alex is going to be targeted out next. Here's that ultimate, but it gets canceled. Tianlu desperately trying to escape, but the Ragnarok is rocking the house right now. Still CC immune for the moment, but you ain't immune to all the damage that they're bringing down. Lorna, she's the one who gets her second kill.
And this bot lane is completely over at this point. I mean, the fact that Seraphine Yunara wins this 2v2 and Caitlyn Lux, they're not able to do anything in this instance. I mean, they're going to be behind the ball. That's completed Yuntal Wild Arrows here. We're still waiting for a Hex Optics to come through for Potato Lobber. This is a really big win for Louisville, who I was kind of slating as you don't really win late, you don't win early, so what are we going to be looking for? We found massive success in both mid and bot lane now.
We did say that Rainfall and Tianlu might be a bot lane that's difficult for many to handle. Tianlu peaking D2 this season, Rainfall being an X-Diamond player a couple seasons ago. That skill still remains even if you're not able to play as many games as you once were. Right now, giving Potato Lobber and basically Alex far more that they can handle. Dragon is up, so imagine we'll see more fighting down there as Ornn is going to TP to the mid lane, get the root, pop that Malzahar shield, and here comes Gromp Economics. Gwen is immune, and the chase down is there. The ultimate on top of it too. Lorna gets another kill. It could be the Dragon, unless our jungler wants to recall.
See, that's what I mean, though. That's a dodge there. He uses the Hollowed Mist to dodge the Malzahar Q.
I understand now. This is why I'm low elo. I don't understand. I just get hit by every skill shot, personally.
Yeah, and that's what makes when you play support so frustrating. Just getting hit by things is not great.
Listen, it was one time against Twitch.
It's not one time. Do not say that. Let's be honest with ourselves here. This is a space for inclusivity and honest feedback. Okay. Constructive feedback. Let's do that. We're starting a dragon.
It's okay that this one's honest.
I think if Louisville takes this dragon, we are in a world of hurt as Vanderbilt.
Well, Vegan is gonna go do the crab and nothing else. Meanwhile, basically Alex is very dead. And it is a very large gold lead, 4,500 gold right now for Lou.
Okay. This is good. You're scaling really hard now. Like, you've already completed 1.5 items coming on through for Lorna. She's doing great on this Mel. Your bottom lane is nigh untouchable. Already has echoes of Helia. Like, I cannot understate that or overstate this anymore. The fact that Seraphine is ahead of a Lux right now is super problematic here for Vanderbilt's JV team. And I feel bad because I was saying this from Renekton's side where he's like, okay, I'm winning early, guys, and I'm pressing tab. Okay, the rest of my team's losing. Now if I'm Ornn, I've killed my opponent 3 times. I've had Gwen visit me twice. And I'm doing everything I can. But I don't know if I can even win.
All right, here comes the Horn, and it runs over Renekton. It's another solo kill for Vanderbilt Ace up top. Good for them.
Yeah, really proud of them. Doing amazing in this matchup. Renekton is honestly might just get carried. He might get put in the backpack. He might actually become the backpack at this point with how he's looking. So a very expensive carrying device here for Louisville Red, but now we need to maybe get some team fights. Like, we're completing all of our first items. Herald's going to be coming up in a minute and a half. I hope that this is maybe an objective that Vanderbilt will feel inclined to move their bot lane over towards. Just continuing the lanes as they are, you're only going to continue to lose. You need to shake things up, as I keep saying.
Yeah, and you have plenty of pick tools, as we talked about in the draft, right? So you can catch some of these Louisville members in rotation, right? I don't anticipate that they're always going to be grouped up. Teams do tend to struggle with that as you go a little bit lower in divisions. So there will be opportunities. You just have to put yourself in position to take advantage.
That's always the case, right? Like, make sure that you yourself are in the time and space to take advantage of opportunities coming your way. Now, Gromp Economics looking to make something happen bot lane.
Oh, good double root, dropping the ultimate down as well. We have a shutdown for Potato Lobber. Now it's a 3v2. Gromp Economics gonna have to shred through everybody, and it's getting pretty damn close. Rainfall walking up, but gets rooted as well, and the headshot is there. Potato Lobber picks up a couple.
That is 2 shutdowns going over to this Caitlyn, and how many plates can they get? Because they got none of the grubs here. Very good turn for Vanderbilt. If they didn't get that, I feel like the game is almost entirely over from that point. Are they even able to really get any plates? Caitlyn will get 1, but now has to immediately force a recall. Still very, very expensive there. But still, look, 2 items on Unara. Still have your flash for both of them. You still have a pretty big hill to climb here as the Vanderbilt Commodores.
We're taking a recall here. Could be an opportunity to head to that Herald. We're still going to send Potato Lobber bot lane, but basically Alex is going to look to join up with Vegan TFT here. Gromp Economics not full HP right now, so it does look like the Herald could go over to Vanderbilt.
Not enough movement right now. You can see already basically Alex is here and already present. Saw some movement from Tianlu, but it looks like they're just prepping vision on bottom side. It's a minute and a half before the dragon spawns. You're going to take this and even just kill Potato Lobber. Yeah,
the beat drop is too much for Potato Lobber to handle. The turret goes as well as the kill. It's another one for Rainfall, who is 4-1-4. As you mentioned, 2 items. We do 2 items in 16 minutes in a game. You're pretty damn happy about it.
Yeah, that was really creative from Tianlu, using the blast cone to get him over the wall. Tianlu might actually just win the 1v1 versus basically Alex too. Okay.
Yeah.
Not much else to add to that. You just got to hit the 2v1 real quick. And guess what? Right before that dragon, 30 seconds, they're going to recall. By the time he comes back to this objective, you'll already have the Transcendent ult thanks to his Fiend Hunter's bolts. So unless somehow Vanderbilt yet again find massive shutdowns or are able to, more importantly, maybe take down one of the 2 members of this mid-jungle from the Cardinals, still looking like a pretty good game going on through for our boys in Louisville.
Solid itemization here, going for the last Whisper, so really worried about what's going to happen when Vanderbilt Ace shows up to a lot of these fights. Mr. T3 getting driven out here, focused up, rooted up as well, and the Malfaic Visions cannot save you. This should be Dragon going over to...
Just let Gwen do it solo. Olaf even recalling in front of them, I think, is pretty disrespectful. Oh, that guy's just dead. All right, cool.
Yeah, Mel's really strong when you have 2 roots, your Lux root and your own root.
Well, you could have honestly stopped right there, Jan. You could have just said, Mel is really strong, period.
There would be many people on Twitter that would disagree with me.
I don't think it matters. You can just block them. Also, as I have told you, and I will continue to, this is probably the worst advice I could give on the NECC stream. Lying is OP. This is the global meta right now, not just in esports, is lying. So
the global meta. You know what? You're not wrong. I would be lying to you if I said that Renekton's got a good 2v1 opportunity here. This flash over the wall might look for a re-engage, but will go and eat up some honey fruit. And the play will be left at that. That top lane turret falls.
See, you aren't lying. You just make up alternative facts. It's all about perspective. So they'll actually trade the mid turret. Remember, this was the team for Louisville who summoned the Herald in mid. They were able to take down most of the plates, but it's still Vanderbilt who grabbed the turret, both in top lane tier 1 and in the mid lane. So they're keeping themselves abreast. It's still a 4,000 gold lead, and that third dragon of the game did still go over to Louisville. So they're keeping themselves somewhat here, but I think the gap that's starting to occur, especially in the bottom lane, is making itself very apparent.
Oh no,
There it
Potato Lover
is.
got charmed, is getting attacked from multiple angles. Another root coming down for basically Alex, and Olaf is going in, but he's going out real quick. Now Mr. T3 is in a bit of a weird spot, so desperately trying to make it back to the turret. Should we just wait, walking up? We're walking into melee range of Gwen, just to drop another grasp.
He tried to dodge them. He walked into them, right? And then Louisville, they
That's
dodged
not
to the left a
dodging,
little
that's
bit.
for sure.
They moved down to the right. They're like, oh, I could just anti-dodge him. We can undodge him right now.
You know, it's
Look,
so much.
Right now the Cardinals, they get the bot side jungle for their Gwen. They're gonna ravage this bot lane tier 2 with multiple plates going over to Lorna. I have very little to add onto what the game state is. I trust that our viewers have eyes and they can see that this game is in a really tough spot for Vanderbilt from where they were supposed to be from draft and where they find themselves here at 20 minutes.
Looking like we're well on our way to an Alt Battery 10 out of 10 no notes.
Boom!
For the side of Louisville as Lorna finds her 7th kill of the game. A very clean scoreline of 7-0.
Tens across the board, you know?
Are you the,
I don't think
the
you're gonna
one
get
tough
that
judge
reference.
that doesn't give a 10?
Huh?
Are you that one judge that it's very hard to get a 10 out of? You know, like
For
whenever
the most part,
Olympics
yeah, because there's always
had those
stuff that you can
judges.
prove. So
9.8 out of 10.
yeah, but the reference you won't get is unfortunate. I'm hoping that some people in the audience will. But
Well, if you want, we have time. You could explain it to me. I know explaining them takes away from it. It's 19 to 6.
I guess
we're
that's
21
true.
minutes
I
in.
guess that's true. I'm just making a stupid RuPaul's joke. RuPaul's Drag Race, right?
So I have watched some RuPaul Drag Race.
Okay.
But not for a while. I used to watch it with my sister every so often.
Nice.
We have a call to Forge coming through. Renekton has been turned into a pair of boots that you might see on RuPaul Drag Race. Rainfall with a nice flash there to dodge out in the Ornn. And oh my goodness! Encore! Encore! As you shut the door on Vandy.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's, they're just done. So get the Baron for yourself. And guess what? You even have a dragon. But let's just take some turrets here. We got three grubs on our side. And this Gwen is super turbocharged at this point. And not even looking at her teammates, right? Lorna and Rainfall, Tianlu, everybody really performing. And Renekton, you know, just standing there saying, guys, it doesn't matter. I gotta win. Afterwards, you just type top gap.
Yep.
And take your game 1 victory.
That's how I've been feeling a lot lately. I've been sentenced to be a top laner for the next couple of weeks, and I have been not having the greatest games, but whenever I win, immediately into all chat. So I know that feel, Yogurt. Not able to quite finish the game here, as it is quite difficult on single pushes here in this new season, but it's not going to stop Louisville from rotating around the map and looking for a second inhibitor.
Why not? Big minion waves, no damage from Vanderbilt. Sounds good to me. We're TPing in. There's no minion wave here, Louisville. So what are we playing for?
Multiple
Caitlyn
traps. There's another grasp, but this Renekton doesn't really take that much damage. And another huge encore coming down from Tianlu. It's in the blink of an eye. They're all dead.
They're just going to go through mid, end the game here. Renekton was building items at the start of that fight, and just seeing the game blow up from there. Louisville Red will take an emphatic Game 1 victory over Vanderbilt.
Really impressive stuff coming out of our mid lane and our bottom lane. A 23-minute affair, and they were able to tell Yogurt everything's going to be all right, my friend. We will handle the rest.
Really, really clean stuff, I think, from Louisville. Good bot lane 2v2. They played it mechanically very well, especially from a losing matchups perspective. They flipped it very early, and they also didn't need jungle intervention. It was the Olaf who came bottom lane, but still didn't get anything done in that instance. So they were able to make do with a lot less than their opponents, and then they ran the game from there on out. Honestly, if we were able to give player the games, I don't know who it would be between either of the bottom lanes. Obviously, your Yunara has to be competent, but I do think that Tianlu had a lot of great plays on the Seraphine that allowed for more and more of the game to go in their fashion.
I think Rainfall did a lot of cool stuff, but I mean, Tianlu, even though the game was already over at that point, that encore, so nice. I'm giving you my player of the game just for that. You know, we can make up our own player of the games. I'm making you make a decision right now. You got to give it to one.
Giving it to Renekton, player of the game. That brother held it down versus
the glue.
Yes.
Listen, on
My
every
favorite
team,
handbag.
on every team, you need a glue guy, and sometimes it's got to be your top laner. Well, with that first game, we're going to go ahead and take a short break as both of these teams are going to take some time to regroup. We'll see if Vanderbilt's going to be able to hold a candle up to Louisville as we head into the second game. We'll see you very soon.
Especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset. I know you don't wanna be used, but you use me too. Build up to feeling good like that, so what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that, so what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. Oh, I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna
Welcome back, everybody, to NECC League of Legends. We saw a game one that was, well, pretty dominated by outside of that top lane. We're looking good for them.
I'll take that. That seems pretty good to me. I mean, they flipped all the matchups that I thought were going to go their way. The run obviously did not work, but it didn't even really matter, right? Like we saw really good play coming out from the mid and the bottom lane. Gromp Economics basically got a free game. There was no early invades from the Olaf. So what are we going to be getting from Vanderbilt this time? What exactly are we going to be looking for? Are we going to be trying to index into more team fighting and less about trying to skill check and outright win our lanes? That's what I can hope for.
This is a team that's going through quite a few substitutions and everything like that, so is what can happen sometimes when a team is going through that sort of roster turmoil, for lack of a better term, at this point in time. You know, especially early on in a season, right? This is the spring season, so typically the start of a new year means that you're already going in with a different roster. Maybe they're not as practiced with each other, but obviously the champ pools, because of these changes, look like they are a small problem at this point. We'll see if any of that actually gets fixed up again. I would hope that we'd see a mid laner that has been taken to the jungle in the past for Mr. T3. You know, I want to give me a Morgana if it comes down to it. Maybe a Talia, if possible, because you know that's a champion that used to do both. Brand even.
Brand, sure. Options. I'm excited to see what they pick. Just there's so many different pairings that they could go for. I thought even that we might even get to see stuff like the Syndra come out, but that didn't obviously work. I mean, bot lane, I'm looking at what we might get. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at Vegan TFT. They've got 20 games of Morgana, and they were jungling last time. So if we get Morgana jungle, you noted the Talia already. Maybe we get some Nefiri, but it doesn't look like they're doing too well in solo queue on that.
Yeah, you might just pick it anyway at this stage, right? You know, solo queue obviously very different than competitive
Sure.
5v5 gameplay, but you know, maybe they'll get an opportunity to pick a Rammus that they've been playing a little bit. You know, if they go all AD over on the side of Louisville, I can't imagine that would be the case for Louisville. It seems like they've got a lot of magic damage in their entire team's profile as a whole. I'm really interested to see if Lorna's going to be playing in this second game, and the reason why is because from what I've heard, Lorna might only be able to play the first game. So we'll see if we can get confirmation of that. I'm not entirely sure. Work schedules plus class schedules means that we could see some changes there.
Yeah, and I do want to give Vanderbilt credit, right? Like there were some things that were okay for them, but their bot lane is subbing in for some of the first times that we've seen from them. At least speaking to Vanderbilt, it's their first time playing with this 5. They've moved their jungler or their support into jungle to try to help out with this. But as they say, it's their first time playing jungle in a year or two, but it's their main in solo queue. So it's just very funny to me that we're getting such a different look and a vision of the Commodores than we've usually had here.
Yeah, and I do wonder what else we're going to see out of Vegan TFT. You know, I know you already covered that a little bit, but that first game, it just seems like we need to have a more cohesive draft, right? I think one of the big issues was how does this team really operate outside of making picks happen? And I think that's a concept that's a little bit harder to grasp. It's simply different than picking team fight oriented champions, right? Because they definitely had opportunities to say, hey, let's rotate around the map and try to get these picks. But if you're not really a great map rotation type team, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the ability to have the pick potential in your back pocket.
That's where I think we disagree. I don't think they had a bad draft. I just think that they completely misexecuted the lanes, right? Like, how is my Caitlyn and Lux losing to Yunara Seraphine with my jungler coming down there twice, by the way? That should just never really occur in a normal game, or at least in a game where things go to expectations. So I really want to applaud Louisville for what they were doing, but their opponents were making enough mistakes that the game became super untenable.
Yeah, I think the inability to dodge a lot of these beat drops was a big problem. It felt like Tian Lu just hit every single one. And whether you get slowed or snared doesn't really matter all that much against a champion like Yunara, who can either speed herself up with her E or drop the ultimate, dash forward, dash to be able to dodge a incoming Lux binding. So any small misstep was a big deal there. I do wonder if Vanderbilt Ace, the top laner, has maybe a carry that they could throw out here. They are particularly good on tanks, from what we've been told, but might be the kind of series where you're like, hey man, we really need you to just smash face in this top lane and just be really, really strong. So go out there, play an Mbessa or something like that, and try to go get us a dub.
I don't know. I'm tentatively excited for what we get from Louisville. I think that if they can show us a 2-0 here today, it's really important, not just for obviously winning tonight's match, but these two teams are right next to each other in the standings. Vanderbilt at 4th, Louisville in 5th right now, 1-2 in series score. So this win would really help them kind of boost up, be able to be next to UTK Orange, and then maybe even contest for like a 4th place slot going in, because I mean their schedule does get a little bit easier as we go further on. Talking about for Louisville Red, they'll be playing against Georgia Tech, who are currently 0-2, and then they'll play against Missouri, the best team currently at least in this conference.
Yeah, that one will be a difficult one, but a win here does mean that those opportunities will to get into that top 4 are going to be available at the very least, right? You can't fall to 1-3. You fall to 1-3, you put yourself really behind the 8 ball, forced to win essentially every series from there on out. It's always nice to give yourself a little bit of a buffer whenever it comes down to the brass tacks of ultimately trying to make the playoffs. We are here for picks and bans. A lot of the same picks and bans from the last time around. That Morgana also getting taken off the radar.
These are very similar bans to game number 1, except this time it's going to be with Vanderbilt on blue side. Their choice here. What is their first pick? Because you've gotten rid of a lot of the same champions. I imagine that Skarner's probably going to drop here. Just isn't I don't think is the beast in the jungle that he used to be. We're going to get rid of the Viego. So maybe some more of those AD carry jungles already out of the way. Surprised there's no Xin Mr. Win now himself. Surprised there's not even like, I know it's a little bit funkier, like Nocturne or even some Talon Jungle. I know Talon Jungle absolutely runs the Diamond Elo, so
yeah, that champion is keep that champion as far away from me as possible. That champion gets the cheat on moving around, and it's not fun. We're gonna see dueling mages here in the mid lane. It's going to be Syndra v Aurora. Aurora going to be pretty scary pick. It was banned away from Lorna in the first game. Again, not entirely sure if Lorna's going to be in for this one. But considering it is an Aurora, I would not be surprised.
Yeah. So decent matchup into Syndra. This matchup kind of is slightly Syndra favored, but Aurora spells are long enough that typically you can just go trade spell for spell with her. It's just if, for whatever reason, if Syndra misses scatter, then Aurora just eats her alive, and especially in side lanes, Aurora can chase her down. So that can be very dangerous for Vanderbilt if this game goes a little bit later. We're going for Cassante Jhin. Not the most amount of damage, but I do think that now Vanderbilt are essentially playing a composition that wants to play at a little bit longer range. I actually would really love a Xin Zhao here, but I think Olulu does cut that away from Vanderbilt thanks to Louisville Red.
Yeah, that Vanderbilt team, as you said, playing at a longer range, but also has some of the same core identity that they had in the first game, where you do have some of this pick potential, right? If you're hitting somebody with a Scatter the Weak combo, you get to follow it up with a Captive Audience on top of it. So, well, we'll see if they're able to take advantage of that a little bit better this time around, if we have a jungler that can either set up for those plays or take advantage of those plays. This is now already getting knocked off the board by Vanderbilt, as well as the Karma getting banned up.
So they're getting rid of more of the, I would say more of the enchanters, but we're going to see a Mumu here. Mumu very, very good into Louisville, so I like that they're at least thinking about this. A lot of jungle bans. I know that says Morgana, but that's a jungle ban, surprisingly enough for Vegan. So something that they're always going to have to be taking at least a little bit of salt into. But second phase, you can kind of just blind your jungle. I think it's very dangerous to blind top, but considering what we saw from Ace, maybe he's just feeling a little unstoppable. We're going to take a Mundo. Very good into Syndra. And Jhin.
Yep, and we still get to hide where this Mundo is actually going. Typically, when we see Mundo, you and I would see it in the jungle, but once you start changing the annals of play, the level of play, could see Mundo flex back up into that top lane. A Graves in the jungle is something that I'm excited for because I haven't seen this champion get picked in a really long time, Alk.
Yeah, Graves actually is getting a little bit more play in the new season, and especially with some of the buffs he's been receiving. I just don't like it into Mundo, right? Like, sure, you're never popping his passive, but you're also almost never killing this champion, and he clears very, very fast, and he scales like a monster. And with a Malphite on 5, flashes are super delicate this game. You don't have that as Jhin or Syndra, boom, you're just dead. There's an Aphelios, there's an Aurora blowing you up as well, and any engagements that go forward. If Rakan tries to go up, he's going to get polymorphed. So you need to be very, very choosy about which engagements you take as Vanderbilt. And I think for Louisville Red, it is a very easy game, something that still can be played in the early stages, but you always have relevant scaling as it goes on.
No doubt about it. You'll get plenty of early damage with your Mundo combined with your Aurora. Your Aurora is going to be doing most of that heavy lifting. But again, most of these are squishy targets over on the side of Vanderbilt, which is why that's going to be so effective. You mentioned that it's pretty difficult for Graves to play into a Mundo. Well, it just got 10 times harder because now you have to play into the Malphite. Now you are also at fear of getting polymorphed. Despite the fact that Smokescreen is one of the more stronger basic abilities in the game, I think Polymorph trumps that just a little bit.
What else can we see from them, man? Because the last game, we talked all about, hey, you have good lane setups, I like the draft, you have good ways to play, and then you kind of disappointed me, personally speaking, with how we ended up navigating the laning phase. So now it kind of is them to do otherwise. We're going to be heading into game number 2 here with Vanderbilt's JV team looking to get themselves at least one win here in this series.
Oh, we have some big changes over on the side of Vanderbilt. So we have basically Alex moving from support to mid. We have Vegan TFT moving from jungle to support. And we have Ice Boy Lee stepping in to play Graves.
They got most of their team back in. We're just missing
I guess so.
OP Zinhai. So, all right. We'll see if the changes give us more from Vanderbilt. I do want to note that Vegan TFT is a player that, again, started in the jungle. Actually, is a player from the varsity team who's coming to help out their JV. So always appreciate that from any player. But support is not his main role. And so hopefully we can get a little bit something better from them and Potato Lobber this time in the 2v2.
Yeah, and it's going to be pretty difficult. Like this, you don't pick Rakan to win a lane. And going up against Aphelios and Lulu, even if you pick the champion that's trying to win a lane, that's not the objective of what they're trying to do on the other side. So as long as Rainfall and Tianlu play the way that they played, or at the same level, I should say, that they played at in Game 1, they should be fine. But the level 2 is picked up here for an engage in immediate route.
Looks good to me. I mean, the 2v2, yes, it's double ranged, but Rakan always can kind of send himself forward. Again, it's all about the polymorph, right? That is going to be the toughest part about playing against a Lulu as Rakan. And you don't have very much engage otherwise. It's him and maybe a Syndra scatter. So it means that you have to be very careful about where you find crowd control and if the angle's even good enough. Because sometimes a knock-up is just a knock-up. It's not more than a team fight. It's not an invitation for us to go ahead and send everybody forward.
Listen, sometimes you just got to go all in and go all in. It's not exactly the greatest idea, but that's kind of what I subscribe to sometimes. Much to your chagrin at times. So, we'll see what Ice Boy Lee has to really offer out of the jungle in this game. Now, so far, nothing too interesting going on. He's just kind of been up to his heart's content. But eventually, you're going to have some of this impact that Vegan TFT couldn't in the first game.
Let's see. I mean, we're still farming, and Mundo is going to be really, really dangerous. Same thing could be said for Graves, but again, Graves has to have like a lot of things go right for him in games, and he does not have the best setup.
Yeah, again, you have some of this CC that can come through, but that's it, right? And it's all skill shot based, right? Obviously, you've got your grand entrance with your Rakan, but sometimes you can just make plays like this and hop right over the wall. Great gank from the Graves as they get first blood.
Yeah, Lorna, just a small mistake there. You can't really stand in the middle of the wave. All of your vision, the Grom being taken, is on the bottom side, so you kind of have to lean down. And Lorna also very low mana, so wasn't even able to really dash out of that situation. There it is. We got to see that in live action here.
Heal is out. Tianlu is able to escape for the moment as Rainfall just continues to put autos.
Oh
the
my
flash
god!
Away, and Tianlu is able to survive. Rainfall still standing tall. Flash to the
Rainfall.
side, and Rainfall's getting it all done here. Barrier is out. The root was not enough. Rainfall with a root of their own, perhaps, but no mana to do it. It's a 1-for-0 out of the bot side.
That flash from Tianlu, and specifically to Potato Lobber, not having vision in the brush, needs to flash forward. Doesn't get that kill onto Lulu. An expensive trade here. They're going to try to push this wave underneath the turret. Ice Boy Lee is in the area, but would really like to continue full clearing. That was a great 2v2, and we got to see the strength of this Lulu early.
Not only that, Rainfall got to keep the barrier in the back pocket for the next one. We still have some fighting, though, as Lulu is going to get taken out. The overstay on the shove, resulting in another kill for Vanderbilt.
Should have just given up the wave, guys. Take a recall. Now you're going to be missing out on the cannon wave. Usually you want to be recalling on cannon waves because they're going to stay alive enough for you to still be able to hit that. Now you're going to miss out on the cannon. It's going to be driven underneath your turret. And now you're giving over 2 kills to the Graves, who is very close to finishing his Youmu's. Super big power spike coming on through. Dragon being started, it looks like from Louisville Red, but with Rakan off map and with some dubious vision control right now coming in from Vanderbilt. Seems like they're going to be, for the time being, eked off of this.
Really impressive start for Ice Boy Lee, already giving you a little bit more than Vegan TFT could out of the jungle in the last game, so we'll see if that torrid pace continues, especially on the squishier targets, right? And the best way to fight through a Mundo and a Malphite is to just stay away from them and pick off the squishier targets as you can. Obviously, as the game goes on, it's going to get a little bit harder, but we'll see if Ice Boy Lee will have better luck against this Mundo. He's going to run right into him and get immediately driven away by the Mundo and force to flash over the wall.
That's why, as Graves, I'm just sitting here like, what am I doing to this champion? He has Giant Spelt Ruby Crystal, and I have Retrix and Serrated Dirt, and I'm the one that has to flash away from him. Do we recognize how problematic that looks?
Yeah, it's not a good look at all. It is tough, right? And yeah, sometimes when you pick a champion like Graves, you have to realize that there's going to be some matchups that are not ideal.
Got red-white, very easy to fight in this instance. Also hitting level 6 on Tianlu. Both supports actually do have their ultimates, which could be a pretty big difference maker. Lorna, you have to play the top side. Remember, your jungler is on this side. Thankfully for her, no Graves intervention this time. But also could be a dragon coming onto it for Vanderbilt. You have a ton of space. You know that Mundo was done with his Raptors because you just got the ward down. So why not just start this up? Good use of their timers here from the lane.
Dragon got started up. Meanwhile, here in the mid lane, we're going between worlds, forcing the flash out.
Ooh.
And throwing that cleaver plus the Q on the way back results in a kill. Now we might fight post-Dragon here. They're going to attack Rainfall and Tianlu. Tianlu does have that ultimate available. There's their ultimate coming out from Aphelios. They're not able to actually get too much more. Ice Boy Lee is going to be the next target, and he doesn't have a dash left. He will fall. It's a 1-for-1 in the bottom lane in the end.
Still got the Dragon, and in all, that is a 2-for-1 because we saw that kill on the Syndra. We're going to keep going here.
Oh, yep. Here comes Lorna from behind, whiffing the Q onto Vegan TFT. The heal will be expended, so Potato Lobbers at him.
Okay. Just trying to squeeze a little bit more. It's the timer that you get from Lorna. I wonder if Lorna just stays here and tries to get a little bit more damage. Just get canceled here from Vegan TFT. But we need to find our recalls, guys. Rainfall, let's get ourselves back to base. Lorna, you have TP coming up in 15 seconds. You could probably just sit around in mid and pick up the wave. You're missing out big time trying to make this pick onto Rakan.
Yeah, down so much CS now, and Vegan TFT likely just doesn't care. We're going to land a Scout of the Week. Are we going to see an actual ultimate get dropped down here? We'll be able to hold that Unleashed Power in the back pocket for the moment.
We're going for Grubs. No, we're going to go try to gank this Malphite. Has ult, has flash.
All right, the smoke screen will ult through it. And then say, hey, you know what? It's time to go to the Grubs. We got what we came for.
No Rakan ultimate here. We still have the Wild Growth. Lorna's also TPing back. It's a decent inventory. Doesn't really match up versus a looted or versus a lost chapter, but it looks like instead Louisville Red are going to decide to just invade. Probably take 2 camps. I think Raptors plus red buff is very realistic. Graves still has to recall. Does have a bit of movement speed thanks to that Youmuu's in his inventory, but as long as Mundo is farming, as long as Mundo is getting himself ever closer to that level 16, I think you are happy as Louisville, especially with how close this game has been, and you still have an advantage in the bottom lane. We still are going to have a team fight where Malphite is going to ult one of these carries, including the Graves, by the way.
Yeah, and it feels like Ice Boy Lee has to really start pushing the pace of this game now that he's 3-1. We have Vegan TFT coming in, already using the quickness and not landing on anybody.
That's not good.
No, it's not. Not ideal, especially for the fact that we were just talking about. We need to see more kills coming down onto these targets while they're exposable, right? Because, as mentioned, the Malphite, the Mundo are going to be problems that I don't think this team comp can handle, that you don't think this team comp are really going to be able to handle either. Especially with a Heartsteel now in the inventory of Gromp economics.
So, when we look at this game, and we continue to kind of talk about the lane leads and how the end of the game might look when it comes to these fights, early game objectives so far have been going over to Vanderbilt. So, I don't want to take anything away from them here in this game. You got 3 Grubs, you got the first Dragon, the next one's going to be spawning in 1.5 minutes, and we're going to have Herald spawn in 4 minutes. We have a lot of different ways of being able to answer this right now. And the flash taken away. Okay. All right, guys. I respect it, though.
We threw everything we had. We got the flash out of the Rakan. That is massive, so you're not going to have any of those flash quickness plays that charm up so many.
No, still, you're taking control of the early game, and that's what I wanted to see from them last game. Unfortunately, it didn't end up happening with everything that did occur, so very happy with the state that we are in. This is a much better look, and I will say I will probably posit at least some of the level of success here to the substitutions. We're getting more of the main roster that we've seen from them here in NECC.
Yep, so far so good. Looking very competitive in a series that, you know, Louisville Red dominated that first game in every facet except for top lane. And in this series, we haven't really seen that much of that. Rainfall has gotten a couple of stray kills. Power has been subdued. It's definitely a different lane.
For sure. Just hard. I think Tianlun has been smurfing this Lulu game so far. Some mistakes, yes, but all in all has been really strong and dedicated about trying to find something. Lorna abusing some rocket tech that we've been getting from our mid laners professionally across the world. And just trying to get more of those passives down so we can harass Syndra, keep her locked into this lane.
Doing a pretty good job of that. And despite being down about 10 CS, it felt like it's still been controlled by Lorna. She's been doing a pretty good job. She does have the Between Worlds still available, and basically Alex is basically dead. If they step up any further, could be a big worry. Between Worlds does tag them. Lorna going for it all, but gets stunned under the turret, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 in the end.
Still very good. This wave is going to push into Vanderbilt. That'll be a wave that'll be missed here by the Syndra. Also, flash away from this champion. Very, very expensive. Dragon is being taken right now, so Vanderbilt...
Tianlu dropping the ultimate down to stay alive. That wild growth. This Rainfall is going right after Potato Lobber and wants to get a little bit more, but is now in the middle of a 3v1. But Gromp Economics has come to try to save the day. Barrier is out, but he still gets tagged by the Q. Good blocking here. Great job by Gromp Economics, and it's a double kill for Rainfall.
Cassante, what are we doing?
You went all out, and you may have gone all in. Be able to escape that turret, putting in a lot of work.
Too close for my liking there from Vanderbilt. Dragon goes over to Louisville Red, and they still get 2 kills in that play. They barely take down the Lulu, and they had to overextend for it. Iceboy Lee flashes to take care of the support. But while this is happening, I mean, you're still opening up a massive lead. This is Rainfall, 4-0 on this Aphelios, 14 minutes in. He is getting closer and closer to finishing an Infinity Edge, right as Potato Lobber is done with boots and his first item.
Yeah, whenever a late game scaler like Aphelios is this ahead early, it is difficult to deal with. Vanderbilt perhaps flipping the game on a play like that, thinking that they were going to be able to win the 3v2, but to their surprise, Gromp Economics was around. Going to create some big problems a little later. Rainfall has no summoners for the moment, so maybe an opportunity to try to punish. You do have a team that can take advantage of a summonerless champion like that.
Yeah, but as is, I mean, you look at where the damage is going to lie. Hopefully, Iceboy Lee can hit
Between Worlds. Lorna! Just every time she recognizes when she can kill Alex.
Had their number when it was the Mel versus Malzahar matchup. Lorna, no follow-up though. Look at how far Graves is.
Yeah, has to hop out of there. And another miscue on a Rakan ultimate.
Ooh, barely misses out on the Moonlight Vigil. So, gonna stay alive for now, but you just lost your turret in bottom side. And now we're making a play. There's a Herald here. Aurora's TPing back in.
Okay, Gromp Economics has no shield for the moment, but Lorna shows up immediately, checking out Iceboy Lee. Here comes Malphite. Bang! Knocks up all 3 members, and Lorna's ready to take advantage. Basically, Alex is here. Another good knock-up coming through from Rakan. Lorna's still alive after the Unleashed power. Rocket Belt's forward, can't get the kill, and it's basically Alex who gets it. But they are very dead as Gromp Economics is going to run him over. On the backside, it's the Giga Chad top laner getting the kill, and Gromp Economics will clean up another, and the Herald going over to Louisville.
It's just Gromponomics, baby. You're just getting yourselves ahead. 4 for 2. A bot lane turret. Rainfall even pushing Potato Lobber away. Maybe you land some curtain calls. That's 1. You get 2. You're not going to be able to land the rest. Cancels that channel. And a Herald to finish this one off. Louisville Red, by and far away, I think just too much of an advantage from their lanes. It is very, very apparent that Lorna and Rainfall are just a little bit better than their opponents individually, and we're seeing that difference being made live in real time.
Yeah, being put on display, Alkins. That could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Gromp Economics has finished the dead man's plate. It's going to be a lot harder for Iceboy Lee to be able to put damage into him. You're really relying on basically Alex, who... This is a build to shred the tanks, but this is not a build that has a lot of initial damage up front. And they haven't gotten as far ahead as they'd like to be at this point in the game. Here's Vegan TFT going again. This time they're going to land the charm and the knock-up, and Rainfall goes in, but goes down. It's a shutdown for its Potato Lob.
What can we get from this? Dragon spawns in a minute, and we just did a really big investment. Nothing was lost there other than the shutdown onto Rainfall. They need to get control of this bottom side river. I'm liking looking at this mini-map right now and seeing all of this blue vision here for Vanderbilt. but there's not going to really be a soul stacking win condition. Oh, Cassante, that is a really unlucky angle there. Lorna even tried to find something with the Between Worlds, but she might go down here. You see that everybody from Vanderbilt started to come through.
Yeah, Lorna got spotted, can't hop away. They have CC for days. Meanwhile,
Cassante's gonna die.
Yeah,
all right.
Unfortunate. Vanderbilt ace going down, 07 salute.
Can we see more, though? Can we see more? Because it feels like for every step forward that Vanderbilt has taken, Louisville have been able to come out the victors, especially in the bigger moments. Right now, it feels like the Cardinals are a little overextended. They're trying to make plays happen, maybe feeling themselves with the advance that they do have. They're going to summon the Herald to take care of this top lane tier 2. There's no Malphite ultimate, so from my perspective, I don't really think we want to fight this as Louisville, but maybe they're saying we have enough items here, and we are good enough that with some of the tools that we still have left, we can definitely take a 4-on-4.
Herald getting that second charge in. We have a teleport up front here. It's going to be Vanderbilt ace. He's going to find himself in the middle of multiple members here. Big shield coming through as well, but an immediate polymorph. Good flash from Tianlu as Gromp Economics going to try to hold the front line for right now. The Moonlight Vigil doing some pretty good damage as Lorna's going to look to join the fight, and they're completely split off. 3v2. Here comes a curtain call. First shot comes through, but Gromp Economics is going to block the next few as Tianlu stepping well around. Malphite has now joined the party. Ultimate still on cooldown for now. Between worlds, Lorna switches targets to basically Alex and forces them out. But it looks like Vanderbilt still want this fight. Vegan TFT still waiting in the wings, but it looks like they will now choose to back off.
That's an expensive loss there for Vanderbilt. I mean, you just gave away the flash on Potato Lobber and the TP from Cassante. Thankfully for them, Malphite did end up matching it, but now you're going to lose out on this mid-tier one, and we still haven't really made the gold back for taking the top tier one for Louisville. So the Kentucky gang is looking very, very confident here in their game number 2 in this whole series so far, Yanni.
Very good stuff. It's nice that they had a game where they've been a little bit more challenged here in game 2, because game 1 we're like, you know, everything was fine except for top lane, right? Everything went as bad as well as you could expect. But in this game, we've had to see them play with a little bit more finesse at times, and they've really showed up to that. And I'm very, very pleased with the way they've played out this game so far.
They're going to shadow, basically, Alex. Hope that he's able to get the wave and, more importantly, the turret plate, but it seems like Malphite's not going to let him do that. I like what Vegan TFT is doing right now. Shadow your control mage and just let them farm safely. Give them vision so that they can step up. Right now, it's, I mean, you just lost a big dragon fight. I think for Vanderbilt, our focus is get our minion waves, hopefully get to some kind of item advantage. The only person with a meaningful one right now is top lane. Oh no.
Oh, we're just turning around on basically Alex. You threw everything you had at the Malphite, and it still wasn't enough.
All he had was a Negatron cloak, and he gets through that. That is, I think, a little bit problematic. You're going for a full ability Haste Syndra build, and we do no damage. That is kind of my worry here.
Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit ago. The ability haste build is really nice, but when you don't have any other magic damage to deal with these super tanks, they're actually just never going to die in this game. They should theoretically never die.
Yeah, I'm okay with the theory of, look, to use more of our spells usually means that we're going to land more of the Splinters of Wrath, so we're getting more evolves. You can kind of turbocharge yourself very early, but with Cosmic Drive, I think you have no ways of properly killing Malphite and Mundo. So I need to be seeing maybe a Void Staff on 3, a Death Cap maybe on 3. Even then, I think you're going to be kind of hard-pressed for damage. Cassante's looking for something with the All-Out. It's going to be a 5-on-5.
Well, so far, Lorna and our Malphite are a little split off. Here's the All-Out. They're really going after this Malphite. Force the flash away. Scatter the Weak, not going to land, but here comes Big Charms out of Vegan TFT. So now they're going to have to run for the hills.
No.
Gromp Economics getting tagged up, but here comes Rainfall. They're all on the wrong side of the map. Lorna going from coast to coast. Rainfall ready to join the fight with Red-White. They're all getting corralled, and it's a great ultimate coming down to chunk them all out. Basically, Alex has to run away. Tianlu is running circles around our Cassante. Basically, Alex on a sliver might be able to escape here. But our Cassante will not be so lucky. Vanderbilt Ace is going to get Vanderbilt aced down here by Gromp Economics.
Basically, Alex is still running. He's gonna go down. We'll take the 1-for-1 trade, but like that was a 5-for-1 at the end of the day. Potato Lobber was on rotation from base, and somehow Rainfall found them in the middle of the jungle, hit them with the 1v1, and now the game, like that was a completely destroyed, doomed fight there for them. Oh, I think you just died to this. One more auto. Oh my god, that was super close. Here we go, current call again. That's 2. No 3 and 4. Tianlu is also on the way. So big win there for Louisville that in my mind, I think, decides the game.
Yeah, that should really wrap a bow on this one. The Baron is still on the map for the moment. We do have Dragon coming up in about a minute. So Louisville could look to go ahead and put themselves on Soul Point here, but at this point in the game, they should have full control and not be able to cede it. I mean, this Mundo, Gromp Economics, 7-0-6, has 2 major items in terms of resistances, has that Heart Steal. It is a Herculean effort to try and take down this Mundo.
Mundo's almost level 16. He has 3 items, and My Graves has Yomu's Collector. Oh, brother, we are never killing this guy. And we have a Jhin, by the way. Did we notice that? Did we talk about that? That we have a Jhin versus 2 tanks? And we're never even getting close to an LDR at this point. We have a Noon Quiver in the inventory, so it's tough. We're down a full item to most of our lane opponents, or most of our matchup opponents here. Another Dragon being taken by Louisville Red.
Oh, here's Lorna from shore to shore, coming through. Big damage. Almost taking out basically Alex. Well, the Dragon goes over to Louisville Red, puts them on Soul Point. We'll see if it'll take them the next 5 minutes to actually go and secure that soul, or if the game will end before that.
Wow, no flash on Syndra anymore, and that was with Lorna going Rocket Belt and Storm Surge. She's got a lot of damage on this Aurora. That with the tier 3 boots that she has access to, super, super dangerous to be on a side lane. This is what we were talking about from draft. Syndra in side lane versus Aurora is not a very favorable matchup, and it doesn't get much better even with items. Gromp Economics now level 16. This is where this Mundo becomes essentially untouchable if he wasn't already unkillable. No deaths here in game number 2. He kind of gets to do whatever he wants across the minimap. And for Vanderbilt, you are... Look at the difference in levels in jungle. Do you know how hard it is to have 3 level difference between any jungler ever? It is a massive gap here.
All right, we have a teleport coming in. Vanderbilt Ace is showing up into the middle of the pit, but Malphite is going to match this. Here comes the curtain call, just looking for as much damage as you can actually get in for the moment. But Malphite is here. Basically, Alex is forced away for the moment between worlds. Lots of damage coming through. Our Malphite is blinded, but look at the backline. Vanderbilt Ace trying to do what he can to get to Rainfall, but Rainfall is full HP, and Potato Lobber is just dead in the blink of an eye. It's a triple kill for Rainfall, and back to the Baron goes Louisville.
We'll take our first couple of wins here on this one. A 2-0 on the cards for Louisville Red. I feel bad for Vanderbilt. They had to play with a substitute lineup in game number 1. They get 4/5 of their team for game number 2, but 2 gapped in some of these lanes. Especially, I think that Lorna had an incredible series so far. And this bottom lane from Louisville, incredible.
Yeah, the score line's not really going to reflect it for her in the mid lane, but really impressive stuff. Great knowledge of the champion as well. A lot of assists. You know, Lorna walked so that Gromp Economics and Rainfall could run, we'll say. As those two are very, very nice in terms of scoreline department. 7-0-8 and 9-1-1. And now the 3 top 2 mid strategy is on the side of Louisville Red.
Can they really pick off Lorna here? Level 16?
No.
We'll just one-shot you instead. How about that?
Arjun still lives. Malphite is forced to flash away. They're really going after these kills, but the rest of their base is now in shambles. See if they want to pick this 5v3.
Calibrum, you're walking into 2 turrets here. I don't think you really want to do this versus this Aphelios at
Okay,
this time.
double knockup on the backside here. Rainfall gets stunned, but nobody can actually get on him for the moment. Teleport coming in as Lorna's going to join this fight as the health bars are starting to drop because Rainfall is raining death from the sky right now. Killing basically Alex. Vegan TFT will be able to get to the fountain for the moment. Between Worlds is there, but
No,
Lorna!
Lorna!
Lorna, no!
Oh, doesn't get that next Calibrum proc. We're going to continue to fight here. We're using the Lulu ult on the Mundo. I think you can tell what kind of game this is at this point, 23-12.
Yeah, this should do it. Potato Lobber getting crit to the safety of the fountain for the moment, but Rainfall just went untouched for most of the fight and really most of the game as Louisville Red are going to take a 2-0 series victory over Vanderbilt JV.
Super dominant, and that moves them up to 2-1, which incredibly important for Louisville. 2-2, incredibly important for them that they could try to get to that bar because I mean we're halfway through the season, right? And this is one of those teams that for now is going to be sitting next to you in the standings. You want to be able to make sure that you're able to make that playoffs like we were talking about, and a very dominant showing from them.
Yep, no doubt about it. It was a really good one. Especially coming out of the bot lane, right? Tianlu, didn't have as, impactful of a game just because they're playing Lulu, right? I mean, you didn't really get to see a lot of it, but you could feel the value. But Rainfall, just really nice Aphelios game. When it came down to the 2v2s, played them pretty well. Did a great job of spacing in that game, and really, the rest of the team did a great job of making sure that every fight was clean for them.
Yeah. And I'm just really excited because we got to see a Mel performance that was great from Lorna. She played excellently in that game number 1, and game number 2 wasn't as clean, but I still think that had the handle on the Syndra matchup and completely cut out any possibility that we could have seen from this Vanderbilt JV team to push their opponents. I mean, it's already hard enough when your bot lane is losing, but then mid lane, like, Syndra has no real space to be able to buy for her. I just think the draft didn't have the tools to allow for a Syndra and a Graves to operate. You need things like a Nautilus, a Leona in that game to really stop anything that we would have seen from Louisville Red.
Yeah, Leona would have put in a lot of good work against those tanks to kind of lock them up until the point where you could kill the carries. But not to be had in this particular match. It was still a good effort, especially in that second game by Vanderbilt. I want to go applaud them because that first game was, not a very close one. So credit to them for that. But credit to Louisville for knotting up their season at 2-2 apiece. We will see how they progress if they're able to go and make the playoffs for their 80 carry Rainfall and have a deep run in Rainfall's semester. But that's going to do it for us here tonight, everybody. We have Overwatch tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern here on the NECC channel. And before we go, I want to give a big shout out to obviously my co-caster. Great work in making sure that things progress properly here on the Twitch and YouTube channels. We want to thank you all for watching as well here this evening. We hope to see you tomorrow for some Overwatch action.